Hi, today, April 1st, 2025, is the day I chose to release my second book on Parkinson's and the way it affects me. That book is called Parkinson's and Recreation 2, No Walk in the Parkinsons. Last night, I simply prayed, asking the Lord to help get the word out about my new book. But my mind, as usual, began to drift off into an entirely different direction, which is something that will not surprise my friends or my family. As I was getting ready for bed, I began to think about things that really exacerbate my tremors. For the past 6 years, the tremors have been relegated to my right side and are apparent mostly in my right hand and right arm. The only time those tremors subside to a tolerable level are a few minutes after I take my medication and right after I've eaten a meal. The tremors are very annoying and tend to wear me out physically, emotionally, and mentally. This affects my daily life in a huge way. The best way I've learned to deal with them is to see them from the Lord's point of view, because I believe He wastes nothing and that He causes all things to work together for my good, even Parkinson's. His grace to endure is honestly life-altering for me. One of the gifts of God's grace towards me has been my ability to find humor in the midst of all that Parkinson's entails. Following is a list of things that make my tremors even worse. They are in no particular order. They all give new meaning to the words of one of the great poets of our day, Taylor Swift, in the fact that I cannot just shake it off. If anything, there are a multitude of normal daily activities that tend to make me just, well, shake it on. I know it's corny. When I mow using the zero-turn radius lawnmower, my tremors literally last all night and for several days after. It's the same when I use hedge trimmers, or electric toothbrushes have a similar effect, but then so do old-fashioned handheld regular toothbrushes. Holding hands with my children and grandchildren before a mealtime prayer soon evolves into a table full of young and old alike, shaking their hands in solidarity with me and making for a very joyful start to any meal. And speaking of meals, trying to steady my fork or spoon when eating tends to ratchet up the tremor activity, filling the atmosphere with the big question: how much of that spoonful of food will actually make it to his mouth? Of course, knowing I'm being watched while in mid-tremor leads to anxious thoughts being produced, and anxious thoughts only make the tremors worse. Anxious thoughts lead to exhaustion in every way you might imagine, but I've chosen to put off those anxious thoughts and replace them with the truth that my people love me no matter what. Believing I am loved simply eradicates the fear and anxiety. When the anxiety is rendered null and void, I feel like playing basketball with my 10-year-old grandson, which leads to a noticeable uptick in my tremor once again, but it is so worth it just to see the joy on his face and to feel his desire to literally mop the floor with Grandpa rise to the surface. I will gladly endure the tremor for the sake of a grandchild. Another thing that triggers tremors is sitting at the laptop writing for too long, as I have just been doing right now. At least I can dictate rather than type when that occurs. But I'm learning to check my dictated writings before sending them out because, well, you'll just have to read the new book to find out how that worked out for me on one embarrassing occasion. It was bad. Conflict causes my tremor to perk right up, so I'm learning how to be better at conflict resolution, mostly by choosing not to respond to those who desire conflict just for the sake of being right. I'm great at seeking forgiveness when I offend someone, and I'm getting better at choosing my battles. Extreme hot or cold tends to increase the seismic activity of my tremor. This makes springtime and autumn prime outdoor time for me. Walking for too long in direct sunlight seems to increase the shaking, so I tend to spend a lot of time in the pool with my grandchildren. Doing my daily exercise routine, which involves a 7-minute chair workout and 35 minutes on a stationary recumbent bike really causes my tremor to be more noticeable, but I still feel very good after I get through with it. Exercise makes me healthier, and this affects my mood in spite of the tremor. In case you haven't noticed, I'm tremoring pretty badly right now, but just imagine trying to keep up with multiple conversations whenever my unusually large family gets together. It's a surefire way to get my tremor to activate, but again, it is so worth it. I would have to say that having Parkinson's and all that goes with it has given me a keener awareness of my own weaknesses, but has given me an even keener awareness of how much I'm loved. I know it sounds crazy, but I've come to a place of thanking God for my life, tremors and all, because of His ability to take even the tremors of life and use them for my good. And if I'm truly being honest, people rarely notice the tremor, especially my family and friends. All they seem to notice is, well, me. I feel seen, I feel known, I feel loved. Why would I ever want to shake that off? Now, to hear more of how I deal with Parkinson's, order your copy of Parkinson's and Recreation 2, No Walking the Parkinsons, right now. And be sure and leave me a review wherever you order your copy. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. Now I'm going to go shake it on for a while.